If you're thinking about leaving the city and heading up north to the Barrie area, you're going to want to listen up. In this video, I'm going to share some things about moving up here that most people don't even think about, at least not until after they've already moved. Since the pandemic, Barrie has seen huge growth as families look for bigger homes, more land, and a better quality of life. But many people don't fully realize what they're getting into until they experience it firsthand. Stick around until the end because in this video, I'm sharing everything I wish I had known before making the move up north. Let's start with the weather. Barrie sits right in the Ontario snow belt. That means we get a ton of snow, way more than Toronto. Heavy snowfall can turn into whiteout conditions fast thanks to lake effect snow. In fact, snowfall in Barrie can sometimes be double what Toronto gets. So you're actually going to need to dress for the weather. I quickly realized that my old city coat wasn't cutting it anymore. I needed a legit winter jacket and serious snow boots. And when it comes to driving, the roads can get super icy and the snowfall can make driving dangerous. I learned the hard way, sliding around more times than I care to admit. All-season tires just don't cut it up here. Snow tires are a must. And if there's a storm, sometimes the best decision is just to stay home. Now let's talk about snow at home because trust me, you won't believe how much you're going to have to shovel. Our little city shovel didn't stand a chance. If we wanted to actually get out of the house, we needed a serious snowblower or even a snow removal service. Winterproofing your house is also going to be key. That means making sure you have things like insulated windows and doors and even a backup generator. And in extreme years like this one, some people even hired companies to clear snow off their roofs. But there is a silver lining to all of this, at least if you're a kid. Snow days are the real deal up here. So if you're thinking of moving to Barrie, you've got to be ready to embrace the winter. We wanted to leave the city for a bigger house on more land, thinking it would be perfect, but we didn't expect all of the extra costs. Going from our 1,400 square foot house in the city to more than double that in a bungalow sounded great, right? Well, bigger space means bigger bills. And a bigger home with higher ceilings, well, that just means higher gas and electricity bills. And what about having more rooms? Well, that means more furniture and decor to fill the space, adding to our already increasing expenses. We also didn't consider the higher water bills. We loved the idea of an in-ground sprinkler system, but when our water bill came in, we were shocked. Plus, there were even rules on when you can use it, so make sure you find all of that out from your municipality. We also added a pool, but no one ever told us about the hidden costs. Higher water bills again, gas for heating and extra electricity for lights and equipment. And we wanted a home that backs onto green space. Well, what we didn't think about were the additional costs associated to maintain our little forest, things like cutting down trees. And we also didn't realize we need to clean the gutters out professionally every year because of all the leaves. The big roof lines up here are beautiful, but replacing the roof down the way is going to be expensive. And installing Christmas lights safely, well, that's a job for the pros. A bigger house also means more time cleaning, or you're going to need to hire someone professionally to do it for you. Not to mention, a bigger house gives the kids way more walls to dirty and more rooms to destroy. Outside, my husband spends way more time than we ever expected, cutting the grass, doing garden work, and maintaining the yard. Plus, bigger yards mean more garden tools and maybe even a ride-on lawnmower. If all of this sounds overwhelming, that's because it might be for some people, especially if you're used to a smaller city home with little to no maintenance. Not to worry though, Barrie has a ton of new, low-maintenance homes that might be a better fit for you. A lot of people are moving up here to escape the congestion, crowds, and construction in Toronto, but Barrie itself is growing fast. According to Barrie's official plan, the city's population is expected to more than double by 2051, reaching nearly 300,000 people. That means more new subdivisions popping up all over, like the one behind me, an increase in condos and high-density housing, major investments in transportation and economic development. So while there are still a lot of areas that have that small town vibe, Barrie is definitely on track to becoming a mid-sized city. Now let's talk about traffic and commuting. With more people moving to Simcoe County, you can also expect congestion on the Highway 400, especially during rush hour. Cottage traffic in the summer, like Fridays, Sundays, and long weekends, can be brutal. And if you don't drive, keep in mind that Barrie's public transit is limited. GO trains to Toronto aren't as frequent as other lines, like the Lakeshore line, for example. So if you're commuting, you're going to need to plan ahead. For us, moving here meant relying on a car way more than we ever did in the city. So now let's talk about shopping and amenities. Barrie has a ton of big box stores and some great boutique shopping, especially downtown on Dunlop Street. But if you're looking for high-end or specialty stores, you might still need to head to Toronto. For example, Georgian Mall is great, but it's not the same as Yorkdale or the Eaton Centre. So if you need something specific, like an outfit for a formal event, you may still have to make the trip. The good news, Upper Canada Mall in Newmarket is only about 45 minutes away. And yes, Barrie still doesn't have a full-blown IKEA store, which I cannot believe. If you love Toronto's nightlife, be prepared. Barrie is a lot quieter. There are some great spots downtown and at places like Friday Harbor, but generally things close earlier, and for big events like concerts, you'll still be heading to Toronto. For us, the nightlife here is totally fine, but if you love to go out, just know you might still be making a trip to the big city. So if you're thinking about moving, you need to know what you're signing up for. For some, the things I mentioned in this video might be deal breakers. But for us, these were the exact reasons why we moved here. We wanted a complete change in scenery and lifestyle without giving up any access to amenities. So now that you know all of the cons of moving to Barrie, you might be wondering what we love about living here. That's exactly what I'm going to cover in my next video, so be sure to check it out. And if you have any questions whatsoever about moving to Barrie or Simcoe County, feel free to reach out. I'd love to help. My contact information is below.